Welcome to another UW Insider Under the Visor Sooners YouTube Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brandon John Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe on the board. Lots to talk about. Commits, answering your super chats, portal questions, whatever is on your mind, we're going to talk about. There's the roster, how we feel Oklahoma looks going into 2026 as the crazy thing is it's only a month and a half, 2 months away from spring football. It's mind blowing to think that it's that close, and football will be starting right back up, and the national title hasn't even played. That's where we're at in society and college football right now. But I love it because football is still ongoing, and that's a good thing. So we'll talk about that. We can talk about Porter Moser and OU basketball if you feel like hanging yourself today. I don't know. I don't know. It's that bad. It's that bad. That may have been a little bit too much, but anyways, we're going to discuss all that. We're going to get to your super chats. We're going to talk about all the portal, all the recruiting, the National Combine, everything right here in this YouTube, Twitter live. But before we do all that, Parker, let's thank our sponsors.
Yeah, folks, Riverwind Casino is our presenting sponsor here on OU Insider Live. Riverwind Casino has been the OKC metro area's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now. Almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. Thanks also to Jana King, the greatest team to ever clean and a proud partner of OU Athletics, delivering spotless results and solutions from stadiums to any size business across the country. Check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janiking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, folks, a word from Mando. Some men mask their BO with sense. Mando men, though, get the job done right. Don't mask it, Mando it. If you're not familiar with Mando whole body deodorant, well, here's what you need to know. It's safe to use anywhere on your body. You can get it in several different formulas, including the solid deodorant stick, the spray deodorant, the cream tube deodorant. So many different varieties for whatever suits your specific needs. Clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap. All products are baking soda and paraben free. Clinically proven to block odor all day and control it for up to 72 hours. Now, you can get Mando in retailers near you, or you can just head to shopmando.com because for a limited time, new customers are going to get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. So use code INSIDER at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. shopmando.com. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you.
All right, Parker, where do we want to start? Do we have any super chats?
No super chats yet, folks. If you have questions that you would like answered throughout the stream, toss us a super chat, attach a contribution of any amount, and we'll bump it up to the top of the queue, and we'll make sure we hit all of your super chats before we wrap up here on the stream. But, yeah, Brandon, one more game left on the college football calendar, and then, of course, we don't get a break from there. It's junior days.
Camps.
Camps, absolutely, 7-on-7, which rolls right into spring football. And then from there, official visit season is not too far behind.
Yeah, look, there is no, Josh Pate says it all the time, there's no such thing as off season, and it's true. There is no such thing as off season when it comes to college football now. And some people say that's a bad thing. Some people say it's a good thing. I choose to say it's a good thing because I love college football. And it's awesome. So I guess let's go with the portal. Oklahoma picked up a defensive tackle. They needed another defensive tackle. Obviously, they have the returning 2 All-SEC defensive tackles in David Stone and Jaden Jackson. One being a freshman All-American back in 2024 in Jaden Jackson. You've got the youngsters in Trent Wilson, Nigel Smith. You have, trying to think, all the young guys coming in 2026, whether it be Brian Harris, Tank Carrington. But they needed another guy that fit that Grayson Halton, that pass rushing specialist. and that quick off the ball type defensive tackle that they could throw in with David Stone on third down, and they got it. They got it in Bishop Thomas out of Georgia State, excuse me, Georgia State University. And yeah, good pickup. But there's a lot of people that wanted him. I think he had what 2.5 sacks last year. Is that correct? Trying to
1.5 sacks,
one and
one
a
and a
half
half
off
sacks,
the top
but
of my head.
48 tackles.
Yeah, and so yeah, he is known as a playmaker, uh, and he hasn't been taught by Todd Bates. He hasn't gone through Brent Venables' defense. Notoriously, players that play in Brent Venables' defense become a lot better during their tenure at Oklahoma. Uh, Bishop Thomas has 2 years, correct? He's just going to be a junior, right?
He has 1 year.
He's 1 year, is
1 year
2022.
rental.
Why did I feel like he was I thought he was a redshirt sophomore for some odd reason, but 1 year rental. And Oklahoma really doesn't need anything more than that because they're going to be pretty deep at defensive tackle following that. Now, granted, they're going to always go after defensive tackles in the portal. I think that's the given. But the fact that, um, maybe you can coerce David Stone and Jaden Jackson to return, I'm going to say the chances are about 5% right now for their senior year. But, you know, I don't want to get the cart before the horses, Parker. But we said the same thing about Kip Lewis.
Yes.
We said the same thing about Peyton Bowen. We did the same thing about Isaiah Satania as he started to roll during the season. And things are starting to trend in the direction of all of them returning. So, yeah, I you never want to say never, I guess, where I'm at. But what was your thoughts on that pickup?
Yeah, it's a good pickup for Oklahoma. I mean, especially with where we're at in the portal calendar and this portal window, there aren't a ton. Well, there aren't a ton of elite defensive tackles out there anyway, period, in any portal cycle. But uh, in the latter half, on the back half of this portal window, Bishop Thomas was as good an option as you're going to find. He's a guy that's had P4 experience at Florida State and at Colorado, dropped back down to the G5 level at Georgia State and dominated. And for a 1 year rental, I think this is the type of guy that you want to seek out, Brandon. Somebody that's going to feel like they got something to prove, but also somebody who, to an extent, is proven, right?
Yeah.
Like this is not a blind roll of the dice on somebody who's never played at the P4 level before, because Bishop Thomas has, but also he did have to dip down to the G5. And so I think when guys go to JUCO, they call it the bounce back, right? There are guys that start out at the FBS P4 level, go to JUCO, and then they quote unquote bounce back to the P4 to the FBS. Going P4 to G5 isn't a bounce back in that sense necessarily, but it does create a chip on the shoulder for a guy like Bishop Thomas, who's going to feel like, hey, I've produced at the G5 level, but there are going to be people out there that don't buy that I can be a contributor at a level that I have played at before. And they just see me as a Georgia State Panther, a guy that played on a 1-11 team this past season. And my game isn't going to translate in their minds to the P4 level, to the SEC level. And so I like the pickup. I like the motivation that no doubt is going to come alongside it for a guy like Bishop Thomas. And there's no two ways about it, Brandon. Like he has to produce. He has to. Oklahoma's counting on this guy. You have Jaden Jackson, you have David Stone. Those are your two locked and loaded starters at defensive tackle. But you can't play just two defensive tackles in the SEC. You need more. You would like to be rotating 4 or 5, but at minimum, you have to be rotating 3. And Bishop
Yeah.
Thomas, right from the jump, is number 3.
Yeah, he's going to be really good. He's going to be a good pickup for Oklahoma. He's going to be a guy that um, makes plays. I like the fit just because Oklahoma has a lot of big 300-pound defensive tackles. Granted, he's probably what 285 right now. He'll probably be around 290, 295. But he's going to be a little bit more elusive. He's going to be a little bit more agile, a little bit more quick. You don't need a lot of the retreads, the same guys with the same type of traits. you need different type of traits all the time, and they went out and got that. So, um, yeah, they also got look, and I'm going to defer to you once again when it comes to the last name because I don't want to be the one that butchers it. I know we came up with Elaine as
We're
the
going with Elaine,
yeah
yes, until we know better,
yeah.
because I've
So
heard three different pronunciations from people whom I would consider credible. So there is no clear consensus on how to pronounce the kid's name.
fair enough, fair enough. Well, Oklahoma picked up Washington State former walk-on wide receiver Mackenzie Elaine this past week. He's only got one touchdown, and he got it in I think the Idaho Potato Bowl or whatever it was,
That is correct.
playing on the blue field. But it just he's a depth piece, and I want people to understand that. Like he's gonna know Ben Arbuckle's system. He's going to come in, and I I tried to make a analogy of who he was and who he reminded me of, and it was Miles Tees back in the day, Micah Tease's older brother, who now is, I believe, at Tulsa. And yeah, he a walk on, a guy that can come in and make plays, who's not going to be afraid of the competition, who's not going to back down from anything. But yeah, he's a depth piece more than anything else, and nothing more, in my opinion, Parker.
Yeah, not somebody that in all likelihood you're going to see on the field in 2026, but given his familiarity with the scheme, given his familiarity with the signal caller in John Mateer, somebody that, if you need a break glass in case of emergency type guy, you can do a lot worse than Mackenzie Elaine.
Fair enough. Do we have a super chat yet?
We do. Let's get to them. Jacob Matthews gave us $5. Thank you, Jacob. And he asked, I'll go ahead and ask since someone needs to, is Nick Anderson coming back? Would not count on it.
Yeah,
Look
I
at that
don't.
receiver room. Look at how many years of eligibility Nick Anderson has left. Does the
Yeah,
fit at Oklahoma make any sense? It
in
does
my
not.
opinion, no, not at all. But I've we've been wrong before, so I'll just say if it happens, it happens. I mean, I can't see it, and I've asked some people about it, and nobody seems to think it's going to happen. So we'll see where it goes from there. Do we have any other super chats?
That is the only one for the time being, it would appear. So
Okay,
things have
I
cooled down a little bit this week because of the portal dead period.
yeah,
Things fire back up tomorrow, and it's kind of a mad dash to the finish line because the window
mhm,
closes on the 16th, which, to be clear, and we have to emphasize this every single year, the window closing on the 16th does not mean everybody has to decide on a school by the 16th. It means
correct.
you have to enter the portal by the 16th. You can take as
You
long as you need to make a decision, but you have to be in the portal by midnight on the 16th.
I have a funny feeling we're gonna see some big surprise. Not so much at Oklahoma, but we're gonna see some big surprises as this thing starts to ramp up really fast, Parker. As it closes out, you're gonna start seeing some names that maybe you weren't thinking were gonna get in, even on a national scale. And I look, if there was somebody that got in at tight end, if there was somebody that got in maybe at defensive tackle or offensive line that Oklahoma could maybe figure out how to make some room money wise with. I think I wouldn't be shocked. As a matter of fact, I think Oklahoma is going to get two more offensive linemen. They need two more offensive linemen, at least one, um, and maybe one more defensive tackle and a tight end and a safety. I think. Look, the safety part is the part that I'm not real sure about. Mainly because whoever they get, they're not touching the field, Parker.
No.
Not at all. So at least at offensive line, tight end, you can maybe even defensive tackle, you can maybe come in and break the rotation.
On that
That
note,
safety, you're not.
super chat from the Green Arrow. Any updates on Hardy possibly staying? He signed with Colorado, so
Yep.
he's
I
going.
was told he got 3 times more than what he would have gotten at Oklahoma,
Which good for him.
which is exactly what we reported. That is why he was told to go ahead and go in the portal, because that's what was going to happen with him. It just didn't make sense any other way. So good for him. He needed that. He deserved it. He waited his time. And there was no guarantee he was ever going to play ahead of Marion Robinson or Michael Boganowski during his tenure, or Reggie Powers for that on an aspect. Like I don't think he could. I don't know that he was ever going to break ahead of those guys, if that makes sense. So it is what it is. What do you think is the most pertinent position for Oklahoma to finish out on?
It's got to be offensive line for me.
Yeah.
Offensive line, certainly. Um, don't feel like it's a necessity to go grab another defensive tackle. Don't feel like it's a necessity to go grab another safety. If the money's right and you can, by all means do. But Oklahoma needs more depth at offensive tackle right now. You got 4 true tackles on the entire roster right now in
Yeah.
Fasusi, Foje, Amarian Harris, and Deacon Schmidt. That's it. You got a couple guys that can play tackle in Daniel Akinkumi and Peyton Joseph, the Georgia Tech transfer. But man, outside of that, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And that's given how much attrition Oklahoma has endured in the offensive trenches over the last couple of years, it would greatly assuage my concerns if they went and grabbed another tackle or two.
Yeah. I could see that being the case 100%. I think they need a swing tack, because obviously Peyton Joseph is your guy right now, that where you feel is your guy as far as swing tackles go. Um, I just don't. I don't know that I like the depth there, Parker, at all.
Not
Outside,
good enough.
no, it's
Not good
no,
enough.
no.
And the hope would be you never have to test the depth because Michael Fasusi and Ryan Foje just stay healthy and play really well all year.
Hmm.
But do you want to count on that? Do you want to count on those two guys staying healthy all year?
Yeah, I don't think you can, to be honest.
How much are you willing to bet on it is kind of the question there.
I yeah, they did this past season, right? Um, and you have a Marion Harris, who do you play Marion Harris at tackle and Foje at guard? Is that something Foje
I
is going to
don't
be?
I don't think so. I think Ryan Foje is your right tackle.
So you think Harris will be your guard at this point?
Maybe. I mean, is there is it so bad to think he might just be the backup tackle?
He
This
be your swing
the
tackle?
new Logan Howland, the guy
Yeah.
that, if either Fasusi or Foje has to miss time, he's right there and he's ready.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, maybe. I, I I really don't know, man. Like he started for 24 games, and I'm looking at a photo of him right now, just because I want to pull up it. I mean, Marion Harris looks the part. I'm not gonna lie, like that dude looks the part.
I mean, 6'7", 315 pounds. You bet he does.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to sit here and say that I don't trust him as the guy at right tackle, and it's all going to iron itself out. I mean, we're sitting here talking about it. That's first world problems that Oklahoma hasn't had in a while, to where you can sit there and say, is it going to be a guy that started for 24 games in the SEC and was pretty good at it, mind you, or is it going to be your former essential 5-star freshman who played the last half of the season really well at right tackle? First world problems Oklahoma hasn't had at offensive line in a while, Parker. It's been a minute.
Yeah, I mean, there have been many, many a many a season past where we've sat here wondering who the starting tackles are going to be at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Now, that's not the question. The question is, okay, who's the backup tackles? So,
Yeah.
in comparison to years past, this is a place you feel it's okay to be
Yes.
when you're
One
trying to process what the biggest issues are for this football team heading into 2026.
100%.
Super chat from Sooner Enthusiast,
Go ahead.
$5. Do we even get a Kip and Isaiah Satania announcement at this point? Hey, if we don't, I'm all for it, man. I've said this before. I'll say it again. We have too many announcements. We do not need an announcement for everything. My least favorite brand of announcement is guys that are out of eligibility announcing that they are declaring for the NFL draft. Like, sir, you have no choice. Of
Hashtag
course, you're declaring for
workforce.
the NFL draft. And frankly, I mean, there are some guys that declare for the NFL draft and they should be declaring for the workforce instead.
That is
But
part for the people that don't know, that's Parker's favorite group text hashtag is hashtag
hashtag
workforce.
workforce. I
Hashtag
see a guy who
workforce.
has no hope of playing in the NFL or hearing his name called on draft day, and he's declaring for the draft. Like, let's be realistic here. It's okay to just have a normal job.
Yeah.
The vast majority of us do. But yeah, I mean, the deadline is today, right? So if that passes and no news drops and we don't expect any news that Isaiah Satania declared or Kip Lewis declared, then yeah, you operate under the assumption that they're returning next year and that's that. And if they never make an announcement, hey, that's just fine.
No doubt.
Because we have way too many things that get announced via graphics on social media. It used to be that nothing got announced that wasn't outside the status quo. And the status quo is, well, you have eligibility left. You're coming back to the program next season. So we certainly don't need an announcement from John Mateer because I don't think there's any sort of widespread speculation about whether or not he's entering the draft. He'll be back. There has been there has been greater speculation about Satania and Lewis. So there are some that feel they need an announcement in that regard. But again, if the deadline passes and those two guys haven't filed their paperwork, well, they're coming back. Like that's how you know.
Can I throw something out there to you guys? Um, the holdup from from buzz that I've heard is that they're working on with some sponsors on their announcement. And in the NIL era, that totally makes sense. If you're going to return, why not return and be sponsored for your return? It tracks. It tracks. So if that's truly the case, it makes complete sense. I'm just throwing that out there to everybody. So, and that could be the holdup, trying to iron all that situation out and make sure it works. And they get their pay that maybe they are trying to get as part of their NIL package at the University of Oklahoma moving forward. I don't know. We will see. We will see. Do we have any other super chats?
We are caught up for the moment.
All right. So Oklahoma ended up getting 2 commits this past weekend.
They did.
They did. Did they not?
They did. Big pickups in the
Okay,
class of
I thought you were
2027.
when you said the way you worded that, like you questioned. I was like, I was in San Antonio. I swear to God, I have it on video. So, yeah, 2 big pickups in 2027 class, both rival or one being rivals 300 edge on 3, but Oklahoma has him as a linebacker. Taven Epps. I love that pickup. I love I love his frame. I love his speed. I love what he stands for. I love how he is like a Mack truck. If he hits you, you're not going anywhere.
No,
It's unbelievable. And really, really good get for Oklahoma there.
he's a lot like Danny Stutzman,
Very much.
just further advanced physically at that stage. Because you remember, you saw Danny in person
Mm-hmm.
when he was coming
In
up through
high
the high
school.
school ranks down there
Yeah.
in Windermere, Florida. And it took him a while to get to the body composition that he was over the course of his last couple of years at Oklahoma. Like that's took some time for him to get there. Taven Epps is also he's already very developed in that 6'3", 6'4" range, 220 pounds, muscled up. He already looks the part of a college linebacker, and man, he plays like a college linebacker.
Yep.
Headhunter, super instinctual, flows to the ball effortlessly, quick to diagnose. I love him, man. And I know there are staffs that I've talked to outside of the OU bubble that believe he's the best linebacker in the country in the 2027 cycle. I don't know if I would slap that label on him myself. I don't think I haven't studied every single high-end linebacker in the 27 cycle enough to make that determination, but he's got a case, man. He's
Yeah.
definitely got a case.
Yeah. Do do you think the rest of the nation ever comes around to him being a linebacker instead of a defensive end?
Yeah. I mean, if they don't, it doesn't matter. Like he's committed to Oklahoma. He's going to play linebacker at Oklahoma. Everybody
Yeah.
else's vision for him doesn't freaking matter.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Then they got obviously 2027 Navy All American, 3-star defensive tackle Devin Robertson out of Jackson, Mississippi. Um, Man, his body needs some work, but overall, I liked him because just watching him on the field, you can't run the ball if he's out there because you're not moving him. And the second he can get his body, redefined in a college strength and conditioning regimen, nutrition, all of that, he's going to redistribute a lot of his weight, and he's going to be a lot more twitchy than he is because he's twitchy. Just he's not Jaden Jackson twitchy, which not very many people are. We talked about that on the podcast, but he's low to the ground. He's always going to be hard to block, and that's what's going to be his strength. Is that he's going to be a nuisance for centers and guards to get a hold of in the interior. And I think he's going to come to Oklahoma and be that. There's Mississippi defensive tackles, kids from Mississippi that play that position notoriously end up being really good players, Parker.
Yeah, man. Find some good ones down there. No question. Two huge pickups for Oklahoma. And when you look at that 27 class, man, it's kind of crazy to think that the majority of OU's work is already done. Like we don't know exactly how many guys they're going to take in the 27 cycle, but they took 24 this past cycle in 26.
Yep.
2026, that is. 24 in 2026. They already have 13 in 2027. So if you're projecting the class size to be 25, which I would say more often than not is a pretty solid ballpark number.
Yep.
Oklahoma's already more than halfway there. And they're going to they're going to add more over the next couple months. There is no doubt about that. They got junior day coming up at the end of the month. There could be another couple commits that slide to OU that day.
Mm-hmm.
Once you lock in the quarterback, whoever that may be, and obviously right now we think it's going to be Jamison Roberts out of Alabama, then that creates a trickle as well. That creates a bit of a ripple effect. And there is very much a world, and I think this is a likelihood, Brandon. I think Oklahoma goes into official visit season with 20 plus commits. I think the majority of the official visits that they are hosting in June are ceremonial trips for the guys that are already committed.
That would be insanity. If that truly happened, that would be insanity. 20 plus commits going into official visits. I look, I think at the end of the day, the biggest question is going to be defensive tackle for me. Like, where do they go? Like, we know Zane Rowe, but like, is he a D tackle? Is he DN? Is he just your hybrid guy that Oklahoma likes to put out there quite a bit? And that's where I think he's going to end up. He's going to be able to slide inside, outside, much like Taylor Wine does, right? He can slide inside, outside. David Stone's notorious for doing that at Oklahoma a little bit. He'll play a little bit of edge every now and then, or 4-eye position for Oklahoma. A name to watch George Toya. Oklahoma's like quietly just creeping up into his recruiting. And he's been visiting Oklahoma quietly. His brother plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He moved from the West Coast to the DFW area. Just makes sense. If you're a big time defensive tackle, uh, the fact that he's Samoan, right? Like he's got that background, Hawaiian, Polynesian background. Jaden Jackson, he's going to equate to. Um, uh, Laulu played at Oklahoma. Like they've had some really good Polynesian players over the last few years play for them. That's starting to resonate. And the more that happens, the more you'll get them because they kind of follow each other. They're very, very tight knit culture. But Oklahoma's in play there for George Toya, not to be confused with George Stoya, which is going to be people's first thought every time that name pops up. But yeah, Zane Rowe is close. And I think over the next month, two, I think you could see him decide again. And Oklahoma seems to be the leader there. He's visiting, I believe, Oregon and TCU over the next few weeks. I think Oklahoma has a chance to get him on campus as well before he makes a decision. I like Oklahoma's chances there for the top, 150 overall player on Rivals. And I don't think they're done. I think Gabriel Osborne Jr. out of Mustang, Samaj Stanford, obviously Cooper Witten. Dude, it's just going to get insane how good this class could be. They could have 4 or 5 stars when it's all said and done, Parker, and that is not hyperbole in this class.
Well, let's play this out. Who are those 5 stars? Because obviously Cooper Hackett and Cooper Witten, Cooper squared, those two kind of
Well,
are at the.
Penny's a 5 star. He's a 20th overall player.
I guess that's true. Yeah. My question will be, is he going to stay there? Because I just, for interior offensive
Yeah,
linemen,
it's
it's
tough, but
tougher.
he's so good. He's
It's
so
tougher.
good.
He is good.
He's
Don't get
so
me wrong.
good.
He's really good. But like, are you thinking Gabriel Osborne makes a run at five
Yeah,
star
I
status?
do.
Like,
I think
what's the
Gabriel
thought
Osborne
there?
does. I'm not the only one. I was talking to some people that aren't Oklahoma related down there at the Navy Combine, and they're like, if there's anybody that's going to make a run, it's going to be Osborne Jr. His basketball tape, his ability, his athleticism, his film, his junior film is crazy. It's awesome, and he's going to sky. He's already skyrocketed up everywhere else. On threes, just kind of lagging behind a little bit there. Um, don't know why I brought him up to everybody, but a long time ago. But neither here nor there. I do think he'll be in that conversation. Um, George Toya, if Oklahoma gets in there, could be in that conversation. Who is that? Oh, tight end.
Seneca Driver?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there you go. There's your like 6 guys that you can sit there and or 5 or 6 guys that you can sit there and point to as and there's probably others that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but those are like the 5 or 6 guys right at the top of my head. I'm like, okay, yeah, that I actually think
You
Samaj
know,
Stanford has a chance to skyrocket if people would actually watch his
yeah,
film
he's so much like Peyton Bowen to me, man.
so
Like
much.
watching him is it's virtually identical to watching Peyton Bowen in every way. Um, Crazy to think though that over Brent Venables' first 4 full recruiting cycles as head coach at Oklahoma, the Sooners have only signed a total of 5 stars. They could double that. There's a world.
How
You
many did
rank us
Riley sign in his whole time at Oklahoma?
Riley? Oh, I mean, let's think here.
He had the 3 5 stars
Yeah, obviously they had the
in
3 in
2019.
2019. Yeah, Hazelwood, Rattler, and Weiss.
Williams.
You had Caleb Williams. Was that it? Did they sign one? Oh, Bray Walker. Don't forget Bray Walker. So yes, Riley
Yeah.
signed 5.
Venables is about to torch that in one season.
Oh, we're stacking up with super chats here. SS Media, our man, says hashtag workforce LOL. It was nice meeting you, Brandon, and seeing you again, Parker, at the All American game. And Epps
Nice meeting
did
you, buddy.
look really good. That's Chad. Shout out to our man, Chad.
Good
Um,
dude.
Jesus Saves 7606. That's Martin Chase.
That is Martin Chase.
Another one of our boys. Tosses $5 and said, "Hey guys, how do you feel about the team overall? And do you think Arbuckle will tinker with the run scheme next year?"
Oh gosh, Martin, you're ruining my VIP content over there on OU Insider. But okay, so yes, I do. Was asked that exact same question, similarly because of the tight ends. And you can go over to ouinsider.com. There's 20 questions. I got asked 80. I answered a quarter of them. I'm sorry I couldn't answer all 80 of them in depth. The way it was over, like it was between 5 and 6,000 words. So take it for what it took me all day to do. But yes, they're going to have blocking tight ends for the first time in Arbuckle's tenure. Like obviously this past season, he didn't really have blocking tight ends. He had a
No.
linebacker turned tight end and a used to be flex tight end in Caden Helms, and then he had the guys they got out of the portal that were just there for depth. And so yeah, I think Hayden Hansen, obviously Rocky Beers are going to be really good at it. You get Caden McIntyre back, who's more of a flex guy. They're really training up Trinity Washington. But here's where I'm at. You're going to have these guys, but you're also going to be taught, and nothing against Joe John, because I think Joe John was a good coach. I do think he could coach. I don't think anybody can take that away from him. He could coach. He was not a recruiter. So he got all of everything you could out of the tight ends that were on the roster. Like every drop of talent was gotten out of him because he was a good coach. He was not a good, he was a subpar recruiter. And that was always his downfall. And that's why they moved on from him, because he couldn't get talent there. They were
Mm-hmm.
playing with one
Well,
arm behind their back.
and talk about a pendulum swing. Jason
Yeah.
Witten, the thing that people are going to question with Jason Witten naturally, because he's never coached at the collegiate level before, is, and come to think of it, we haven't done a stream since Jason Witten was hired or announced as
That's
the hire
true.
last Thursday. But the thing that people are going to question with Jason Witten is, okay, can he coach? Can he develop? The one thing you will not be able to question with Jason Witten is, can he get guys to the University of Oklahoma? Because by virtue of his name and reputation alone, there will be elite talent flocking to the University of Oklahoma at the tight end position.
And see, I'm on the other end. I get that he's going to be able to recruit, but Arbuckle has been recruiting the hell out of Seneca Driver for a
Yep.
while now. He's been DeMarco has been recruiting the hell out of Zach Ferris. So it's the baseline is set up for him. It's going to be pretty easy. Jason Witten can be able to recruit. But who knows tight end better than Jason Witten? He coached. Granted, it was high school. Okay, he coached high school, but he did a really good job at that high school. And so, I mean, I don't know. They did not want to. They didn't want to see him leave. Um, Liberty Cruise did not want to see him leave at all. And to me, he knows how to coach. He's a lot. He reminds me. If you watch his videos and his coaching, he reminds me of Brent Venables. Very intense, very to the point, very matter of fact. Now he's going to draw some things out and talk to you about the emotions and try to get you all pepped up and all that type of stuff, because that's who he is. But I think he's going to be able to relate to these guys, because he's not old. He's done it. He's a Hall of Famer, and these kids they're gonna listen to everything he has to say. There's every word that comes out of his mouth is gonna be like God talking to you, because if you're a tight end, because he's who you looked up to growing up
Mm-hmm.
for these kids. So it's I don't know. I think it's gonna translate really well. I do. Maybe I'm crazy.
I mean, it's hard to imagine it won't. And maybe it does, like, this type of thing doesn't always work out. And I saw some people, some morons, in my replies on twitter.com last Thursday, back when the hire was announced. And Uh, one of the things that was getting thrown around, that one of the perspectives that was getting thrown around by said morons, Brandon, is, oh, this is like Deion Sanders. This is a celebrity hire. That's all that is. You're not hiring him to be your head coach. You're not
Correct.
hiring him to oversee an entire program and all of the processes and protocols and personnel therein. What you're hiring to do is very simple. You're hiring Jason Witten to recruit and develop the position that he played at a Hall of Fame level in the NFL.
Yeah. I have to comment on this one. Comment on our super chat. It's just like stuck here at the bottom right now. Joe John Finley couldn't coach. Emmett Jones can't coach. DeMarco Murray can't coach. I'm not even sure Arbuckle can coach. By Max Swear. Could you do it? Are you the guy, Mac? Do you know coaching better than everybody else? Do we need to come talk to you about who needs a coach and who can do this or what? Like that is probably my biggest pet peeve is when somebody goes, "You can't do it. That guy can't do this or this." Are you sure? Because I mean, didn't Satane didn't one of Emmett Jones's wide receivers have almost 1,000 yards and wasn't he first team All SEC?
He was
I'm
indeed.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure same coach, right? Joe John Finley took a linebacker and led the SEC in receiving at tight end. Just want to make that sure. I'm not defending Joe John Finley because I do not think he was a good coach overall. Overall, everything matters, but he could teach the guy how to play the position because he knows the position. He played in the NFL. Um, DeMarco Murray has had some pretty good success at running back. Kennedy Brooks, Eric Gray. Who else played for him?
Ramondre.
Ramondre Stevenson played.
Ramondre. That was his very first protege
Yeah.
was Ramondre Stevenson.
So let's temper it. Offensive line hasn't been great, and not Bill Bedenbaugh's fault. They can't stay healthy.
Mhm.
That's been the biggest problem of anything. Nobody has been able to stay healthy. Last year they stayed healthy. Look what happened. Things started to get a little bit better. The running backs got injured after they started to get going. Xavier started to get going. He hurt both of his knees. Torrey Blaylock hurt his shoulders, and the depth was gone because you had a bunch of other dudes that didn't want to play the running back position because of all other stuff, but nothing a coach can control. So let's
Uh,
not go there. Like that's not right to just pigeonhole these dudes of they can't do this or that when they've proven they can over years and years of coaching. But anyways, I digress, Parker. Go ahead.
Super chats continue to roll in. Popeye's Knuckles gave us $5 and said, "Do you guys agree that one bye week is really going to take its toll in November for us? And is it going to give the SEC problems during the playoffs?" I really don't think so. I mean, one bye week is a standard season, right? Like sometimes you get two, and that's great. Oklahoma obviously had two this past year, but if and when Oklahoma makes it to the college football playoff, they're going to get at least one, probably 2 weeks off from competition. And so they're not going to be too terribly fatigued when they get back out there. And furthermore, I think when you look at the depth on this roster and the amount of guys, especially at the skill positions, the positions where guys are running a lot, with the knowledge that Oklahoma is going to be able to have a first team unit of, say, Parker Livingston, Trell Harris, and Isaiah Satania, and then a second team unit of, say, Jermichael Carter, Elijah Thomas, and Manny Choice. You want to throw Jacob Jordan in there, you can throw Jacob Jordan in there. But like, especially because of the depth that Oklahoma has at the positions where you need to be able to rotate guys in and out on a regular basis, I really don't worry about the fatigue factor with this team.
Well, everybody else is going to be going through the same thing as far as depth.
Mm-hmm.
And the NIL era, like there's a lot of people cutting back on their numbers to pay the players. Oklahoma being one of them. They did not reach the 105. Um, I don't think they're going to get close to 105
No, they
actually.
will not.
And by design. Now, I said this. I think this will be one of the last years that you'll have that issue because I think what you're going to start seeing is Oklahoma's going to go, okay, well, we signed this many during the December signing period, and this many guys left. We got this many coming in the portal during that December signing period. November leading up to that December signing period, they're probably going to go to the 2 and 3 star guys and say, look, you're going to go G5. You're not going to get NIL if you go G5. Would you like to have a scholarship at the University of Oklahoma? And they're going to hit on some of those guys. And Oklahoma's going to get really lucky doing that and having those guys come in instead of doing the walk-ons. And they'll probably do some walk-ons, but instead of doing full walk-ons, they'll have scholarship-only guys, not NIL, scholarship-only guys that come in that weren't going to get offers or anything like that if it wasn't for this situation, right? In depth. And they're going to come in, and Oklahoma's going to end up hitting on a couple of these guys, and they're going to end up making a bunch of money at the University of Oklahoma before their time's up. But OU's not going to have to compete with other teams to keep them, and that's kind of the idea. It's genius, and I was told that's kind of where Oklahoma's leaning towards doing is finding those 2 and 3 star OK preps, North Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, Southwest Missouri kids, and saying, you want to come help us have depth and possibly have a chance to move up in the depth chart as long as you keep working hard and then earn NIL at a FBS level, cool, come on over here. And they'll do that as a February signing period. So that's where I've heard Oklahoma's leaning. Now, it's this year, it's going to suck. They're not going to have very much depth, but
You don't
nobody
think they
else is
will?
either. I'm talking like as far as like 85-man rosters, 90-man rosters, 95-man rosters, stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be like that this year. I don't think they're going to, because they're not going to get close to 105, but I think they're deep. They're just going to be super young. How about that? For
That's
the
fair.
local dance
Yeah,
spot. So,
that's fair. And yeah, they
yeah.
will not have 105 scholarship guys or anything close to it. Lynn's channel gave us $10 and asked a really dumb question, but we qualified for the bowl game. We had the playoff game, but why was that, quote unquote, apparently an in lieu of a bowl game versus in addition to a bowl game? I mean, it's all semantics.
Yeah.
Um, it extends OU's bowl streak. Like, even though there's no bowl affiliation with the game itself, it's understood that that is a postseason game.
Mhm.
So,
You
uh,
won't get any player that, like, if they was said, oh, cool, you lost your playoff game. Now you get to go play in the Weed Eater Bowl or something like that for somebody. Every player would look at you and give you the bird. Like, they're not going to go do that.
mhm.
Zero chance.
John May Myrick, $20. Thank you, John May.
Thank you.
Sammy O's goodbye tweet was heartbreaking. What's the backstory?
Mm.
Yeah, I think you could tell, couldn't you, Brandon, that was something that Sammy Omasigo was really beat up over.
He waited as long as he possibly could. Um, the Cole Sullivan situation, this was all about playing time for him. And he spent 3 years working his way up the depth chart, and Oklahoma went and got another portal piece. Um, and they really love James Nesta. And he knows or has a good feeling. How about that? Has a very good feeling that Kip Lewis is probably coming back or likely coming back at this point, or it's trending in that. How about trending in that direction? They got Cole Sullivan. They have James Nesta. He was going to have to compete with Nesta if that didn't happen. But what if Hone Heineke came back? And he waited until after, or he doesn't get the decision from the NCAA until after the portal closes. Well, Sammy would have been screwed. This is last year.
Yeah.
So he had to make the move. As heartbreaking as it was, he had to make the move for himself. That's the backstory in a
Cole,
nutshell.
Cole Birdwell, $2. Just got here. Apologize. Hey, no problem, Cole. Thanks for showing up. Next three commits. Out of the portal, recruiting, what are we talking here?
Let's just do
I'm
recruiting because portal's
yeah,
tough right now because they're all over the place with that right now.
yeah, no doubt. Okay, so if we're going recruiting, oh, how about I think a tight end has to pop soon, right? Like the
Are you going to
Jason
call
Witten
Seneca
effect.
Driver?
Man, it
Put him on
feels.
the put him on the table, Parker.
Yeah,
I want
okay,
to
I'll
see
do it.
this.
I'll do it because most years, most cycles, this would feel too good to be true. But it's 2027, and Oklahoma getting everybody in 2027. So I will say Seneca Driver is one. I will go
Okay.
with Jamison Roberts. I'll say they lock in the quarterback pretty expeditiously here, and
Hmm.
then give me Juju Johnson. I mean, he was supposed to commit on December 1st, held off, but I think everybody understands where that process is right now and where he's at in the process.
Hmm. Okay, so you said Driver, who and Juju John, who was the third?
Jamison Roberts.
James. Okay, I will go Zane Rowe. I will say Gus Corsair, and I will say hmm, you're probably right on the Juju Johnson, so I'll go Juju Johnson. I'm with you with Seneca Driver. I follow you. I feel you on it. I think he's going to be a Sooner at this point. Um, but I got to see. First off, Witten's got to be able to get out there to see him. He's been on the phone with him. He's got to be able to get out there to see him. Now, I
Yeah.
think that's going to happen over the next week or two. So, as the OU staff is on the road, we're going to have all that for you on OU Insider VIP. Like, we're going to tell you where they're at. I know OU is going to be in Tulsa tomorrow, going around all that. So, all those schools. So, I would expect Samash Stanford to get a stop by. I would expect Tulsa Union and their 2028 um, D line, O line, Terrence Johnson, I think is his last name. Um, I would expect 2028 offensive lineman for Jinx. I just named blank. Uh,
Jamison Mobley.
Jameson Mobley. And then obviously, I said Broken Arrow. They're going to stop by Owasso. All those schools are going to get stopped by. Um, so yeah, that's happening tomorrow. I know that for a fact. So a little
All right.
tidbit for you guys. So, um, who do you think is going to make the biggest impact out of the portal? Who do you got?
Parker Livingston.
Okay, one offense, one defense.
Yeah, I would go
Leaning
Parker
Parker
Livingston on
Livingston.
offense, and then defensively, I would say Cole Sullivan. Couple premium crackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm bullish on Livingston's potential in the Oklahoma offense, man, because he's just such a complete receiver. Think he's an NFL dude, and he had remarkable production given his role in the Texas offense and what he was dealing with mid-season with the knee injury that was very nearly catastrophic. I think there were a lot
Yeah.
that watched it happen in real time and figured, oh, his season might be over, but thankfully dodged anything too severe. And man, as a redshirt freshman in an offense like Texas's, where you're sharing reps, sharing
Yeah.
targets, sharing opportunities with the likes of Emmett Mosley and Ryan Wingo, et cetera, Jack Endries at tight end, to go 29 for 515 and 6 touchdowns. I think that suggests that if given the chance to be a true alpha, which I don't know if that happens for Parker Livingston in 2026 at Oklahoma, but I think that's kind of how it sets up in 2027. He's he's easily in my mind a 600 700 yard guy in 2026 with the potential to go beyond that.
Yeah.
And then in 27, I think things set up very nicely for him to be the A1 option in the passing attack for whoever is throwing the passes at that point. He's going to be a redshirt junior. Trell Harris and Isaiah Satania will have graduated. It's Parker Livingston's show at that point.
I know Parker Livingston, that was my pick in the mailbag, but I'm just to be a little different. I There's something about Trell Harris. I know for a fact that there's some pretty influential people on the OU offensive side that think he has a chance to be really special because he's over 200 pounds. Like he's a bigger, thicker built body, an SEC type body. And I'm in agreement with you, by the way, with Parker Livingston. I think he's going to be downright special at Oklahoma. I think for one season, I think I'm gonna bold predict this right now. I think Oklahoma has two 1,000-yard receivers next year. One
Wow.
being Isaiah Satania and one being Trell Harris.
That would be remarkable, seeing as how Oklahoma hasn't had one 1,000 yard
Correct.
receiver since
Yes, you are
2022.
correct.
That
That's
would be
why I
quite a
said
leap.
bold prediction, my friend. I'm bolding it out there. Defensively, I think it's easy. It's Cole Sullivan, but I do like the pickup of Kenny Azawalu,
Yeah,
and
come on.
I
Come
do like
on,
that.
Kenny.
And we talked to some people that know that UTSA, and they're super high on that guy. Like they were like, that dude is going to be so good. He's just now starting to figure this thing out. And UTSA politics were played a little bit with the limited amount of playing time. There were a lot of people around UTSA that felt that he should have got the lion's share of the reps, and he didn't. But yeah, every time he got out there, he made plays. He was one of the top TFL guys for him, and he was one of the top sack guys for him this past season in limited time. So that ought to tell you who this guy is and why OU and Texas were so hard after this guy. So really good pickup. But anyways, all right, that's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Advisor Sooners YouTube Live and X Live powered by Riverwind Casino. We want to thank Janet King as well for being a long time and consistent sponsor for us. If you're not subscribed to OU Insider right now, I'll put the link below. 50% off right now. It goes to the month of January, but there's so much going on OU Insider. We've got portal targets Oklahoma's looking at still as it closes out this week. Buzz in recruiting, some names. Parker dropped some recruiting intel tonight. I dropped recruiting intel tonight in my mailbag. Like really, really good intel on some big name targets for Oklahoma. Some timelines, all that type of stuff going on over at OU Insider VIP. Plus, we've got the mailbags. We've got Brody Lusk dropped a very good piece on OU basketball that you are going to want to read, talking about a lot of different things going on within the program. It's a fun time over at ouinsider.com VIP. So make sure you go over there and join us. If you're not subscribed to this YouTube channel, subscribe to whatever podcasting platform you listen to us on. Give us 5 stars, give us likes, give us thumbs up, hype whatever video, whatever they do on YouTube now. The hype really helps us with the algorithm. But all that stuff matters because it helps us with the sponsorships and make sure we keep bringing you all free content weekly, bi-weekly, everything as far as like the lives, the 2 podcasts a week, like all that type of stuff. And it ends up being 3 podcasts when you count the live. We do all that for free because of sponsorships. It helps us with the travel to make sure we keep you all informed and stay on top of everything for you as well. So thank you guys so very much for supporting OU Insider. And we're blessed to be able to do this job. But for Parker Thune, Spencer Forsythe on the board, my name's Brandon Drum. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider. Under the Visor, Sooners YouTube, and X Live, powered by Riverwind Casino. You all have a blessed night.